Running is running. It sucks. But you have a choice to make. Do you want to sit down and go back to that guy you once were? No.
Daily Dose KHANGO followers. Are you ready? No! Daily Dose KHANGO followers! I said, are you ready? Anyways, that was to break the ice because we got my guy, Fernando. How do you say your last name?
Aguayo.
Fernando Aguayo representing Mexico. And in that introduction, we're going to go and take the shot real quick. Fernando is, well, shout out. Nando, go ahead and say this real quick. How do you say this?
Don Gato.
We got the new Don Gato by Danny McBride. We hope to get a sponsor, huh?
Cuando quieras, dime.
What'd you say?
Cuando quieras.
Look in the camera and tell him that.
Cuando quieran, díganme y yo lo puedo hacer.
Hopefully he said to go. We'll translate it in English up here, Aaron. Aaron, what episode is this? 36. Episode 36. Fernando, thank you for coming on, my brother. So this is how we roll around here. We got our sponsors, Regal Pools, Sebastian Plumbing. Which one am I missing, Aaron? Phoebe Warren. Who else we got? And Diane Ginsburg. Coming a long way. Coming a long way, big dog.
I see
We got Dwight Manfredi and the skeleton right there. The unofficial representative. Well, the official representative is Nando for KHANGO Supps. KHANGO Supps is another sponsor for this Daily Dose podcast. Fernando is a loyal Congo warrior. He's got a phenomenal story. One of the most probably inspiring, life-transforming, life-changing, life-saving podcast person interview that we will probably have to this date. So, Nando, that one's for you.
Oh, thank you.
Get a little messy. Firdose, this one's for me. Fernando Aguayo, Dangato Tequila. Shout out to Danny McBride, Sly, Aaron, Don't Shit the Bed, sponsors on Daily Dose Podcast. Salud.
Salud.
Viva la Mexico.
Viva la raza.
Maybe edit that part out.
Oh, damn. That Mexican's coming in.
You gotta do the calf kick. Is it that good? Is it good? Not good? Well, give me what do you think?
That's good. It's coming down slowly, so.
So the old Nando would probably be able to take about 20 of those shots because he weighed about how much?
Right before I started training with you, I was 325.
Okay. So this guy was 325. What are you now?
Now I think I hover like around 210, 205.
Do the math, Aaron. What is that?
But however, I will say this: the lowest that I've been has been 170, and that's when I was training. That's when I was running like consistently, like every single day, and I was doing like 10 to like 12 miles every day. Apart from the way you taught me how to train, and yeah, I think the lowest I've been, I think I didn't get no lower than like 169 and a half, but 170.
Okay,
for sure.
So I bring that up to let you guys know where he started and where he came from. I joked at the beginning in the intro about, Nando, his loyalty and his warrior to us and die on the sword for us. But he really is. How we met was actually when we were at Nine Innovations. Mm-hmm. Arian Foster was doing, what was he? He was doing something on Twitter. What ultimately happened and how did this come about?
So it's funny. So I was on Twitter. And he was about to take a flight somewhere. It was when he was playing with the Texans. And he just said, hey, he's like, I got a few minutes. He goes, hit me up. I'll answer as much as I can. So, man, at this time, my ex-wife at the time was pregnant with our daughter, Daisy. And so
sorry, Daisy, you couldn't come today.
Yeah, sorry, D. And Junior and Matt.
Junior and Matt, my bad. That's just a small room. I said, yeah, you could bring the kids. It's like, well, the problem is if I bring one of them, the next one's want to come, and the next one's gonna. I said, yeah, that's pretty tight in here.
And so I ended up sending him a tweet, and I was like, hey, Arian, I was like, I'm 325. I'm like, I have a daughter in the way. I got 2 kids. I'm like, and I was like, my family is, diabetic, high blood pressure, cholesterol. I was like, and I'm already to the point where I'm taking shots in my stomach, and I'm like, and I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I'm like, I want to be able to like see my daughter grow up and see my boys grow up. And I went to bed, not thinking, I was like, he's not gonna like respond.
Yeah.
And then that morning, man, like I was headed to work, and this is when I used to work off 290 and Telgi.
What year was this?
2015.
Okay.
And so I woke up, man, and I had like 100 like notifications on Twitter, and then I had one DM from him, and I was like, man, there's no fucking way. I was like, this is Arian, and he sent me his personal number, right? And I was like, there's no fucking way. And so like on the whole drive to work, I'm like, man, there's no way. And the whole time I was like, man, this has to be somebody like a burner or some whatever. And so I said, you know what? I was like, let me just call. And I ended up calling him like at 9. And sure enough, he answered. And he was like, hey, he's like, can you meet me? He's like, can you meet me this Sunday? And I'll never forget because that was Valentine's Day weekend, February. And I was like, yeah. And, that weekend is when I met you. And then I met Arian, you, Leo, and who else was there? I forgot who else was there. I know it was you.
Was Abdul was there?
Abdul was there, and I guess his wife.
Okay, yeah, she was there too.
Yeah, and that was it. And then I remember we sat down.
Were you nervous when you walked in the place?
Yeah.
Wait, did you know about 9 Innovations?
Nah.
What was it about Arian? You just want to ask Arian? That was your question?
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to ask. Like I said, like I know
you're big, and this guy's a big fucking Houston Texans fan. Also, I forgot, breaking news. Well, it won't be breaking news when this comes out, but KD to the Rockets.
KD to the Rockets, man.
Shout out to Patrick Fertitta, boy. Pulled that trigger on that thing, and I'm not even a Houston guy. Lakers, got to make something happen because Houston just got tougher. KD to Houston. Anyways, shout out to Papa Foxtrot. Houston, you're about to have nationally televised games, and you're going to get that crowd rocking. KD, let's see what you can do. We'll see you at KHANGO soon. Anyways, I brought that up because he is you're a huge Houston fan, right?
Yeah. Now it's kind of
rule, man. I ain't got my phone on.
Now that kind of fandom has come down a lot. But this one, like I said, man, I was just young, and so like I bleed everything Houston. I still follow the teams, but like now with like everything got going on, like with the kids, and like obviously I enrolled back into college to get my supply chain degree. My bachelor's, like, I really don't have time. So I mean, if I can watch, I'll watch. But most of the time, I'm in bed by 7:00.
That's him now. Fernando, if you could do me a favor, put your left arm up like this on the camera. No, the back side of it.
Oh, the backside.
And since we're doing tattoos, what else you got on there that you need to show us?
Oh, this one.
Aaron, you got a visual on that? So when I said this guy is loyal, this guy has literally got KHANGO tatted on him and the Houston Texans tatted on him. So he's gonna say, probably now he's got a lot of shit going on now, but back then I would say Arian was somebody you was it idolized, just somebody you looked up to because he was.
I mean, just because like he played for the Texans, and he was somebody that was always active on Twitter, man, and it was funny just the way he would tweet, and so it's just it's just like it was funny how he would just shoot the shit on Twitter, and so I would just follow him, and like I follow like Dwayne Brown and like Dre and everybody, but
so when you walked in that gym, then were you like getting nervous? I'm about to go talk to Arian. I'm about to because
like honestly like when I walked in,
and how old were you then too?
I was 20. I was 25.
Okay.
25, 26. Yeah, I remember I walked in and like I was nervous, and not nervous because of like I was like, oh, I'm going to see Arian or like players or whatever. It was more of like just the possibilities of like what could actually happen, right? Because like my dad, like if you see my dad, like my dad's a bodybuilder, right? He has no legs because like back in Mexico, like he used to play like soccer for like the national team, the under 17 before he crossed the river. And so then my dad got into bodybuilding. So like if you see my dad, like my dad's like a bodybuilder, so it was more of that aspect. Like man, I was like I'm gonna do something that my dad like does, and like it was new to me because again like I was 325 and like I didn't know anything. I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. More than anything, and but I was nervous, man. Like the drive, I still remember like the drive over to off of 59. Like I was just nervous because like I truly didn't know what to expect. I didn't know like who I was meeting. Like I just didn't know. All I knew was like I had to show up, And like I told myself, like I remember that I would try to convince myself to like to go back home. But I was like, man, I was like, if I want to be alive, like, to see like Junior and Matt grow up, to see Daisy grow up, like, like to see them, like, I have to make this drive, right? And so I remember, man, like, I walked in and you were there. That's when you had the big beard. You remember we had the big beard, and after that, man, I was, that
2015.
Yeah, it was like
2014 maybe.
Nah, 15.
2015.
Okay. Yeah, 2015. I remember you had a beard, and like I said, and you were there. Leo was there. Abdul was there, and his wife or ex-wife at the time, she was there. And like, remember we just sat down and talked for like 30 minutes, man. And I left, and I said, man, I was like, well, I'm like, I have an opportunity. It's like, and if I don't take this opportunity, then I'm like, it's really like on me at this point.
Do you remember what Aaron's deal was with you?
All I remember is he told me, he's like, hey, like, he told me about the facility. He said, I don't remember how much at that time. He said that he was charging, but he said, hey, he's like, I'm giving you, he's like the open range. He goes to the gym. He goes, and I'm giving you two of the best trainers. He goes that I believe in. He goes to train you. Mm-hmm. And then from that point on, that's when I met you, and then you introduced me to your sisters, Alima and Samina, and then I spoke to them. And like even to this day, like I still have the email that Alima sent about the way I was supposed to eat.
Okay.
And that I look at from time to time to remind myself, like, I've came a long way from
oh my God,
like the way I used to eat, and when she was doing Advocare. And so like I still have like all those emails that from, like I mentioned, like from time to time I look at, like in the morning, like before I go to the gym, like I look at just to kind of remind myself that like the job's still not not done, even though that I've done all this crazy ass shit.
Yeah, and I think, Aaron, does that sound okay with the fan? Okay. I think, Arian's thing was, and this is generally, true of Arian, like, you gave this kid a chance and you were 325. Dude, he was big when he walked in. And basically, Arian's agreement to him is, you got access to these guys. I'm going to take care of you. Only thing I am relying on you is to show up and put the work in. Mm-hmm. And it was a handshake deal. And Arian made a kid's tweet come to life, and Arian, all he asked was don't quit.
Yeah.
Don't quit and see what you got.
Yeah.
And so what was that like? Man, you have come a long way, especially like I think about it, like look at that, you're a rep, you're the sales rep for freaking KHANGO Supps. And we were starting you on Advocare.
Yeah.
So after that, after that agreement and that handshake in that room, what was the next step, and what was that first workout like for you being at 325 pounds? And when was the last time you even exercised like that?
Man, before then, man, I never worked out, and I think it's just, I was okay with just being comfortable at that time, right? And I when I went home that day, I spoke to my ex-wife and I told her, I was like, hey, I was like, I need to do this. I'm like, nah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. At the time, she was your wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that time, yeah, she was my wife.
Okay.
And so I went home and I told her, I was like, hey, look, I was like, I have an opportunity to really change, like my life. I was like, and not be like how be like my, how some of my cousins are. Like, not that my cousins are all overweight, because man, I shout out to all my cousins, because like, man, they're all either tall or they're big. And I'm like I tell everybody, I'm the only short one on both of my mom and my dad's side that got the short and fatness, right? But like all my cousins, man, like they all worked out, and they all did their thing, and and I wanted to be like my cousins, and I told myself that, man, I was like, if I can, like show up, and prolong my life at least a little bit by 5 years, and see like my kids grow up, then I've done a great job, right? And so I remember talking to her about that, and I remember telling her, like, man, I was like, I need to change the way I eat. And mind you, this is a time where, like, Alima had sent me the meal plan, and, like, I would stick to it, but, like, I wasn't big on the vegetables, because, like I said, man, when you're Hispanic, you really don't eat vegetables, you're, like, eating tortas and, like, everything, basically, right? And so that shift was, like, hard. But that first workout that I did with you, man, that was hard.
Going back to the Tajabolic, we don't really do much vegetables.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, man. Yeah, it's crazy how that evolves and works.
It is crazy because, like I mentioned, like my diet, even like I know we're kind of jumping all over the place,
No,
but
that's
like even with my diet now, like when I did the max effort contest and it's strictly all vegetables, right? And that was cool, but then like when I spoke to Tosh was like, no, is like start eating this way, and once I started eating that way, like I saw everything.
Yeah, you fucking transformed.
Yeah, and
'Cause
so
you were-
like
you
and
were
so like
starting to get,
now,
like
yeah, and so like I follow like Tosh's diet. Like for me, that's the blueprint. Like I follow his diet down, but like on your last video that y'all did, and I think you mentioned either you mentioned or Botcha mentioned it, saying that we know our own bodies more than you know my body, right? My bad.
You're right.
And so like now, like after like I go train, I still train 2 hours every day. That's like in the mornings, right? And so like now what I started doing is now I started doing like 2 cups of egg whites and then like 2 cups of cottage cheese, and then that's my breakfast. And so then like from 12 on my lunch break, and then my dinner is just either like grass-fed ground beef and sweet potatoes. Like that's it. I don't cheat. I don't cheat, even though I try to cheat on my meals. But I tell everybody, it's like, man, I go, the diet is so good and so structured that like I don't crave pizza. I don't crave burgers. I don't crave none of that anymore.
there you go. That's Tajabolic. This guy was 325. You're at one. What now?
Now I'm like at 210.
He's at 210. We're gonna get more in detail about his crazy ass routine and workouts and how far he's come. But before we get there, that first workout being at 325, out of shape Mexican from Houston, Texas. Coming into Nine Innovation. And was it me that trained you first?
Yeah.
Was it me first?
It was you
okay,
first.
Go ahead.
It was you first, man. And I remember that at that time we were putting on the bands around our knees.
Okay.
You remember?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I want you to tell the story because it's Juan. Shout out to Juan. Juan showed me a message yesterday. It had Dose 9 on this screenshot, or whatever. It might have been the same message. I'd probably a screenshot though, because he's probably like, "Fuck that 9." He's put the Congo logo on there. The tattoo. We're gonna talk about it. He showed me a message like his first day coming into Congo, and how it impacted his life. Not Congo, coming into Nine Innovations and meeting me, and then eventually the family, and just how he's kept that and how it's impacted his life. But yeah, so I bring that up to go on to where it has. So how was that first workout? Tell me the story, because I want to know, how is it so everlasting in your guys' life? Obviously, you guys are prominent people in my life.
Yeah.
But to go back and see how far we've come now, it'd be cool to hear.
Like I remember, I left work and I was nervous, like, because again, like I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, and like I didn't know if like, all we're doing is benching, like, because I didn't know anything about exercising, right? So like, I was coming into this world like just brand new, right? And then I'm being introduced to like an athlete's like personal trainers that, again, like, like, are you gonna be hard on me, or like, are you gonna like all these different thoughts like go into your head, because again, like, you're just new, right? And you don't know. And then so I'm like, in my head, I'm going in there thinking, I was like, is this dude gonna pick on me because like I'm fat and I can't do certain things, or like because I can't do a push up, because I can't do such and such. But I remember walking in, and then I remember I met you, and then you said, hey, like, where's the restrooms over here? Go change. I remember I changed into I think I had some Jordan shorts during that time, and like a red tee or something.
What size were the shorts and shirts at the time?
My shorts were a 3X. My shirts were pushing 4X at that time.
Damn.
And so I remember, man, like we didn't do much. We did a lot of mobility, and we did a little bit of like lower body and a little bit of upper body. And I vividly remember every time, like the last 5 minutes of every workout, we did planks. And I remember holding that plank, and then I remember Dwayne Brown walked in, and I said, and because at that time Dwayne Brown was my favorite player.
Okay.
I remember he walked in, and I remember, I can't be a bitch in front of Dwayne Brown, and that's all I remembered. And so I held that plank, and then like I left, and I was like, man, I told myself, oh, that's not bad. Like, like everything that you see, like you hear, like, it's maybe because of that person's, like the way they train. Right. And then I kept coming back, man. I kept coming back. And, I fell in love with what you do. And it opened up my eyes to like so many different things. Because if you remember, one of the reasons why I started, apart from like trying to do like be alive for my kids, was because I wanted to become a cop. I don't know if you remember that.
I did that because I remember you did some ride-alongs.
Remember?
Yeah.
And so
we both wanted. Remember, I wanted. To be a cop
I
too.
remember.
Damn.
And
what?
then
That could have been sick.
And so I remember that. At that time I couldn't remember. I was never a runner. Remember, I was so big, and I remember we
know 3X and 4X is big, and then now you could have had me and Nando on that thing. What you want? What you want? What you gonna do? Freeze! I'm the officer of the law.
But yeah, man. If you remember, like I remember that was another factor why I wanted to go, because I wanted to go into law enforcement. And I remember that I had scheduled the physical test with Pearland.
Yes.
And
okay.
I had done the one for HPD, and then I remember the one for HPD I didn't pass because you had to run 800 meters under a minute. No, I'm sorry, under a minute 30. And when I took it, I remember I faked an injury because I just was slow.
This guy here,
and so I faked an injury.
I think you might have told me that.
Yeah, I told him that I pulled my hamstring, even though I didn't know what a hamstring at that time was. I told the cop.
Yeah. Well, no, I remember you. This was after you trained with us, right?
Yeah. I think this was like.
I remember you came back with the news too. Okay, go.
Yeah. I think this was like HPD was like I think 2 or 3 months like after you and I had established like a separate, like a good routine, right? But again, like I tell everybody, like you can work out all you want, but if your diet is not on point, it doesn't matter, right? And so I was lying to myself about the diet, and so. And I remember I said, okay, so I'm like, you know what? I was like, let me go back to the drawing board. So then I took Pearland. So when I took Pearland's test, I scored top 10 out of 400 applicants, but I couldn't scale the 6-foot wall that they had.
So this was the second fail.
Yeah, this is the second fail.
Okay, and this is how many months training with
so
us?
So that was the Pearland was post 8 months of working out with you guys.
So what I do remember is the hamstring one. I do remember that now. That was some bullshit.
It was.
But this one you're speaking of, you were genuinely hurt and disappointed by, and I think that's what.
Yeah.
You came in poopy pants.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you needed to like elevate yourself, because you genuinely were like, I fucking could have did it. But my fat ass couldn't get up.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? This is the Daily Dose podcast. You can't judge how I talk. This is how we speak. You were a fat ass that couldn't get over the fucking wall.
Ironic, huh?
Sorry.
That's ironic, huh?
Hey, man, how do you say this again?
Don Gato.
I'm going to take one more Don Gato for the Mexican people. Would you like to take one?
Come on, man. Shout out to the fat Mexicans, though, bro. They're prominent.
Oh. Sorry, Priscilla. Danny McBride, man. Don Gato. Number 2. Getting over the wall. Yeah. So, yeah, you couldn't get over the wall.
Yeah.
So what happened after that?
So after
that was what motivated you.
Yeah. So that really, like, knowing that I scored so high, and then the thing what killed me is that the practice test before then, like I was able to scale the 6-foot wall, and I did it under their time or whatever. But going into the test, I think I was so like worried about like the wall that the first part, that leaping over like. Bro, I promise you, Dallas, I promise you, it was sleeping like a say it, bro, say it.
I'm sorry. Oh, Priscilla, we're good,
bro. Say it, bro.
You're just talking about the wall.
Bro, these are real life stories here, man.
I know. I'm not making fun of them. I'm not.
I mean, even
this is great. Like Nando and I talk about it on the podcast. Is like this puts me. I love this podcast because I get to do this. Like, when do you and I ever get to do this? Other than fuck that shit Saturdays that we used to do about, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's why I am. So anyways, you couldn't get over the wall.
Yeah, and then so like now I go into the test and like now I can't because I'm too worried about the wall. I can't jump over the simulated ditch. Right, so I failed that 3 times. So they said, "Hey, like 3rd time's a goner." So that was it for me, man.
Hey, let's take a commercial break for the ads real quick. You got Aaron? Take a break. Regal Pool. Summer's just better with a darn pool in your backyard. Regal Pools builds award-winning custom pools for families across Houston, made for memories, built to last, like America. Ready to get started? Call Josh at Regal Pools and tell him Dose sent you. Or see their links in the show notes for more information. And we're back. So anyways, you couldn't get over the wall.
Yeah.
Three strikes, you're out.
Yeah, so after that, man, I sat on the bleachers, man, and I waited till everybody finished, you know, and I let like that failure soak in.
Mm-hmm.
And then that really like made me realize that I needed to elevate who I was just more.
Okay. With that, with that failure, was it 50-50 or what was it like for you? Like, because I know we were starting to have an influence in your life at that time. Were you more upset that you're going to have to come back and tell us that fucking I didn't pass again? Or was more of your anger and your fear was, man, I messed up for myself and my family? Or was it a little bit of everything?
It was both, because at this time, like, you know, like you mentioned, like you had a lot of like impact in my life during that time, right? Because during that time as well, like that's when I was going through my divorce. So like I was, going through the whole like depression.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. We'd love to hear it if you'd like to talk about it. But that's what I was going to get to as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and like,
go ahead.
I remember like I was dealing with that whole like divorce, depression, and then like I had things going on with the boys, like and their side of like with their mom and whatever. And so it was just like a bunch of things that kind of just came down. And I remember like sitting on that bleacher crying, and the cop came over. He's like, "Why are you crying?" I was like, "Cause I'm like, you don't understand." I was like, not too many people get a chance like to do some of these things. I go, and I'm like, and I got an opportunity. I was like with an NFL athlete to train with his like professional trainers, man. I was like, I can't. I was like, not too many people get that chance. And I'm like, I'm like, they've been helping me train. I was like, and I was supposed to come here and perform. Like, I was like, and I couldn't even, do the simulated ditch, man. And then he's like, it's all right. He goes, wait till next year. I was like, no. I'm like, you don't understand. I was like, there may not be a next year. I was like, because you just never know what happens. And then, so like I said, it was that. Like, it was like coming back and like knowing I had to face you, like, and be like, hey, like I didn't do it. And then like, going home and being like, damn, like, I failed again. Like, and what now? And so it was like a lot of things. And then like dealing with like the whole, like the depression, like now that I go home, like I can't even come home with a win for something to make me feel good about myself. Yeah. So it was just a lot of things, man.
So what was it? What was it that, because I can kind of vividly remember, that wanted you, because at that point in time, Nando, people have the opportunity to go the route of fuck it, I keep losing, I'm done with this, or I'm gonna turn this motherfucker around. But suffering from depression, going through a divorce, failing that test, weights coming on and off. What was it for you that kept you to be like, no, I'm gonna push through this bitch?
You want to remember? I don't know if it's still on my Instagram or not, but I remember that Monday we had squats, and I remember you were in my ear, and you said, and I think I was squatting 225, and you said, put the weight on your shoulders and squat that bitch, and that's what ignited it, man. And I'll never forget that, because I remember we were squatting 225 and we were going for volume, and I think at that time we were doing like 6 sets of like 10. And like I remember, like
honestly, it was probably 10 sets of 10 to be honest. If I remember,
yeah, it was something.
Might have been 10 sets the way I was thinking then.
Yeah, it was something. But I remember you came into my ear and you said you put the weight of the problems of the world on your shoulders and squat that bitch. And I said, okay. And so that's what it took. And then so like that, like, and then again, like coming back to how like you like the way you mentally like helped me like be strong, like made me realize, like, man, like, hey, like, even though I fucked up here, like, tomorrow we go back to the drawing board. And if I fuck up again, tomorrow we go back to the drawing board until we get something right. And so that's what it was, too. That's why I tell everybody, man, like, You know, like I told Alima, like man, I was like I look at you, Taj, Jim, Bacha, Alima, Cole, like I look at you guys like as mentors, apart as like family that I've like grown over like the past years, like to like know and like friends, like but it's just more like the mentorship that you guys have like instilled in me and then like you, right? Like how you helped me become like I don't want to say become because I feel like this me has always been inside, but you helped me like uncage him, like to not give a fuck. Like I've always never gave a fuck, but you showed it. You showed me how to give not a fuck, but more be more outspoken about not giving a fuck. And then so when we're at 9, you know, and all these things that you know that you were instilling in me, like help me like mentally like be better and do better and tell myself like, hey, like it's gonna be okay. But you know, if you fail, like that's okay because a lot of people don't even try. So
Yeah, and that's lots. Keep pushing, baby. Keep pushing. Got to keep going. You know, there was a point too, Nando. If you don't mind, bring me up. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer. Didn't you get jumped or something happened?
oh yeah. I remember
This
that.
was like at the peak of where Nando, like he could not catch a break, and it on our end, it would think like you know it's a woe is me mentality. This guy's always got an excuse, but you know the more and more we got around him, it's just like it's life, man. Like you just don't catch a break. Where at that point was that you did get jumped? Something happened, and then you lost your car, or what was going on then?
Man, it was just a whole bunch of shit, man.
And this was still during the divorce, right?
Nah, this was kind of post. Like
Okay.
this is where I think like I think this was like around where everything kind of like broke for me, right? More in a good way. Because I remember that
Bad leads to good.
yeah, and cuz like, you know you mentioned fuck that shit Saturday nights, right? And that was the only thing that
Okay, so before we, sorry to interrupt.
No, you good.
Aaron, producer, keep track of this. What were we just talking about? So we don't lose train of thought. Getting jumped. Okay. This guy mentioned fuck that shit Saturday. Shout out to Warren. Okay. What is so now that people Congo, everybody's there now.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Congo maniacs and divas out there. That FTS on The Office. What was FTS? How did it come about? Did you look forward to it? What was it about? And how did FTS create friendships and bonds with people that you never thought you'd be around? And what did it do for you so people can understand what
man,
FTS is?
Man, so FTS stands for fuck that shit. Right?
Also, shout out to Kiati.
Yeah.
I didn't forget about you, Kiati. Sorry, man. You ghosted me on the pod. You're big time. But yeah, shout out to Kiati, FTS.
Yeah, I think having those Saturday nights with like you and Taj and like Kiati and Warren and everybody else that would join us, man, those Saturdays impacted me a lot because there was like, man, if I start crying, dog, I'm bad.
That's right, man. Let it out, bro. That's why we're here.
Cause
That's why we're here, man. That's why we're here.
yeah, so like, man, during that time, man, like I was working in the medical center, man, and like I was only making $12 an hour, and so like I didn't have enough money to like pay for my bills, right? I didn't have money to pay for my bills, and my mom like would pay majority of the bills, and whatever money I had like left after like child support got taken and like the insurance at the medical and like the hospital was so high, like man, I was probably left with like $150 every 2 weeks, and so like I really knew like man, I was stretching dollars here and there, man. And, like there was months like I wouldn't pay like one bill because like I was like I need gas to get to work, you know. And shout out to Amanda because like man, my boss like Amanda like she knew what I was going through and she always made an effort to like buy me breakfast or buy me lunch, like you know. And that's why I told her like man, I go even though we don't work together, I was like you're still my boss because like you were in a time in my life where like I needed help. I was like, and you were there. I was like, and you know, you helped me out through a lot. And like, and fuck those shit Saturdays, man, just like kind of helped that much more because like, I remember when it first was created, it was only by invite only, right? And so and I'm a loner, man. Like you know, if I get invited to things, cool, and if I don't, cool. Like it's not gonna move my needle, right? And I remember you said, hey Nando, it's like you know, you literally I think the text read, you're like FTS 9 at 7 o'clock. And I said, okay, cool. So I remember showing up, man, and remember we would bench heavy, and like we would bench on the blocks. We would work up to our maxes, and then basically what we do on the boards. And then after that, you would play fuck up some combos by Future, and we had to run the rack all the way from the 40s all the way down. If Kiati was there, I think we started at the 60s. If you were on another one, you would start at the 80s, and we would all follow suit. And then we would go from the 80s to the fives. And then if that wasn't enough, you would make us do crunches to Eye of the Tiger nonstop. And there was days that it was just like you, Taj, Jen, and me. And some of the those Saturdays for me, man, like really impacted me a lot because I'm like,
Nina.
man, and Nina, yeah, and it's the only reason why I brought this because Nina, and like and those Saturdays impacted me a lot, man, and the reason I say that too because I'll never forget, and I told you this too, and this is what really like cemented my loyalty to all of you guys was that it was you, Taj, Jen, I forgot who was there, and then myself, and we had just finished, doing what we did, and we were setting up, putting everything back up, and then you're like, hey Nando, you're like, what are you gonna do right now? So, man, I was like, I'm gonna go home. He's like, oh, come out to eat with us, and I was like, nah, I'm okay. And the reason I said no is because I knew in my bank I only had $10, and you're like, come on. I was like, nah, I'm okay. And then Taj was like, he's like, yeah, Nando, he's like, just come out and eat. And I was like, man, and I called my mom and I was like, hey mom, I was like, do you have like an extra $20 that you can like send me? And she was like, nah, she's like, I don't have anything on me right now. She's like, cause I gotta pay the bills. And I was like, fuck. I was like, okay. And so I remember at that time, we went to Hop Dotty, and then the whole drive over there, man, like I was looking at the menu and like I was like, man, what the fuck can I buy, man? I was like, cause I don't want my card to get declined. I go in front of them. I was like, fuck it. I was like, man, I'll give me a kid's burger. I was like, cause at that time I think it was $8.99, and I was like, man, that was cool, whatever. And then I remember I forgot who else was with us, but you were in front of me, and then it was me, Taj, and Jen were in the back. And Taj kept telling me, he's like, what are you gonna eat, Nando? I was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, fuck. I was like, man, and I remember that whole time I was so nervous. And like, I remember I forgot whoever was with us, man. They paid and they moved out the way. Then you paid and then you went out the way. And then I'm just like, fuck, man. I was like, I told lady, I was like, let me get a kid's burger. And I think Taj saw that, and I just remember Taj putting his hand right here, and he's like, Nando, he's like, get you something to eat. And I was like, no. I was like, that's all I want. I remember he said, Nando, it's okay, I got it. He's like, get you something to eat. And like, I ended up like getting me just a regular cheeseburger, and then I think, you have bought some fries for the table or whatever, and like, that cemented my loyalty to you, like to all you right there and then was because of that. Like I know you guys didn't know what was going on, but just at the fact that that happened, like that cemented my loyalty to you guys. Like I told myself, like from that point, wherever they go, I'm riding. I was like wherever it is, because it's like how you said in the text, like, I told you, like, do you mean to bring anything? You said no, and I was like, I wasn't raised like that, man. I was like, I was like, if I get invited somewhere, it's like I like, cause the way my parents were like raised me is like, you have to bring something because like, hey, you're a guest. And at that time, I was like, man, I can't, afford them or as trainers, like, but I was like, but I could give them like my loyalty and like be with them, like through the ups and downs wherever they want to go, man. And like, if I can't be there, man, I'll find a way to support.
One of our sponsors is Stevie Warren, your Houston real estate pro and fellow Congo warrior. Listen, you don't come to Congo for easy workouts, and you shouldn't settle for a pushover agent either. When it's time to buy or sell, you want someone who can handle the heat and fight your battles. Call Thebe. If she can survive Congo, she can handle any real estate hurdle. Save your sweat for the gym, not your real estate deal. Call Thebe Warren.
And so after that, that's when you invited me to your apartment to go watch Pump and Iron. And then you're like, hey, remember we went to the apartment and you threw it on and you said, you're like, Nando, they're like, if I fall asleep on the couch, man, he's like, just leave me there. And you're like, but lock the door on your way out. And so I remember, like, we watched Pump and Iron, and that was like, I told you this last time when I met Lou Ferrigno at the event that I did. Like, if I don't watch Pump and Iron, I don't think I truly like fall in love with like the aspect of like actually working out, like the whole realm of it. Right. And then like we watched that, right? And I looked over, and you were still wide awake. And then I think after that, thing next was like Generation Iron or some shit, man. And I remember
it was Generation Iron with Phil Heath and Jay Cutler.
Yeah. And so then that came on, and then I looked over, and you were just knocked out. And so, and mind you, this I think I left your apartment like it was like closer to like 1:30, 1:45 in the morning.
Yeah, playoff Dose was alive then. No, you can't catch me up that late.
And so, you know, and then like again, like Kiati was another like big mental for me too, man. Like during that time, because like you know how Kiati is, like he comes in and he like quickly like the room lights up as soon as he walks in.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would talk to Kiati like and his wife Mika and I would tell him what's going on, and like I tell everybody like this, like I like Kiati, like apart from you guys, like has like my love and my loyalty, because anytime that I needed to talk to somebody, like I would tell him, hey, and like, can I talk to you? Didn't matter if he was on the radio. It didn't matter where he was at. He'll be like, give me 5 minutes. And then he'll text me back, go ahead, call me, Nando.
Yeah.
And that for again, like I tell everybody, man, like that cements my loyalty to him, because like you don't have to do that, especially if you're on the radio station and you know how it is. Like he would take time to like be like, hey, like, well, give me 5 minutes. He's like, and call me. And then like he invited me to go DJ with him. And again, I tell everybody like he didn't have to do that, you know, but he saw that like that I needed somebody, and we went to go DJ out in Atascocita. And, you know, I helped him, like, set up and break down. And, you know, at the end of the night, like I said, I was going out there because, like, man, I was like, I'm with Kiati, cool. He gave me $100 just for helping. I was like, hey, I'm not doing it for the money. I was like, I'm just doing it because, you know, I want to chill with you. And he's like, I know. He's like, but he's like, let me bless you. I remember he's like, let me bless you, brother. He's like, and I said, cool. And so that was $100, man. And like, after that, like I said, it's just like, it's just the loyalty after that, man. And so like, fuck that shit Saturday nights, dog. Like, they mean a lot to me, and they mean a lot to who I am now, especially even after 9, like how we will go to like Taj's apartment, and that was invite only, and we would do it there too. And like even like those nights, like for me, have as much of an impact as the ones we had at 9, because like I was going to Taj's apartment, and then there were times where it was just me and Taj just working out, and then like after that, Taj would be like, oh, let's go to Wendy's, and we would get a salad, and then we would do I think like 2 or 3 double doubles, and then like, and that's what it was, man. And you know, and then like even when he was holding the workouts on the rooftop, like I knew I couldn't afford it, but he would be like, man, he's like, just come through, he's like, and just come have fun. And I think there's a video that on Instagram that pops up from time to time. It's when I was trying to do a lunge, and my lunges were like
30 minutes. Form could be better. We good.
He's recording us, and he goes, all right, Nando, and he goes, form's trash. He goes, but we're getting there. But yeah, man, it's a lot of those things, man, that kind of impacted and shaped like where I am now, and just like from everything.
Yeah, well, shout out to Kiati, because Kiati is the, you know what, we're going to public Kiati sponsor, even though he's got hella followers and 90. Kiati, yeah. Anyways, Kiati works for 93.7 The Beat now. He is the voice and pulse of Houston. He is a good friend of mine, hoping to get him on the podcast. When I first moved to Houston, when you talk about the calls, you know, he came in, he worked out, did his thing, and he was actually invited by my ex at the time. And same with me. How you talked about when you called him and he was there, give me 5 minutes. He was always there for me, no matter what was going on. And I think anybody in Kiati's circle would say the same thing about that guy. And it's, when you needed something, he may not be right there then, but he's going to make sure to return that phone call and be a listening ear. So shout out to Kiati, man. I don't forget. I know you say I'm big time and this, but you know what, man? I'm just out here growing. Living and thriving. KD on the way. But yeah, man, that was just give Kiati his flowers. Love to have you on, Kiati. 93.7 The Beat. Also, shout out to DJ JQ, Big Pimp and Pimparelli.
Yeah, JQ used to be there too.
JQ was at those FTSs. So now the bass, you know how that had an impact in your life. For again, getting now to know the knowledge of what fuck that shit was on a Saturday for us. The mentality was, and if you go back, it's crazy to think that Florida Gators documentary with Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
What was it called? Shitty producer doesn't know off the top of the head. And he claims this guy's a fucking football guy. It's Untold on Netflix. See if you can get it to me before I try to announce it. Untold on Netflix about the Swamp Kings. If you haven't watched Swamp Kings, go take a look at it. And shout out to Tim Tebow, because I've had every Texan legend come on here, and every Texan legend just couldn't beat Tim Tebow, but they got an excuse about it. But that's neither near, there, or near.
Something.
Anyways, getting back to it, in that Swamp Kings documentary, that national championship team, instead of going out and partying every night on the weekends, they would do late night workouts to set a precedent and push themselves fucking physically to the limit rather than going out. So to me, at that point in time in my life, with everything that was going on, it was my way of bringing camaraderie to the gym, an atmosphere, and to set the tone that this is what the fuck we do, and we let the anger out there.
Yeah.
And we let it out. It's crazy now because there's these guys that was recently with AJ Brown. You may follow them. You know who AJ Brown is, right?
Yeah.
Did you see him work out with those powerlifting, heavy lifting?
Mm-hmm.
Who are those guys?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
They're these. I don't know who they are. We'll pull them up right here, Aaron. Them lifting weights, crazy weights. Like, they're fucking like going crazy. Anyways, that's what we did at Fuck That Shit Saturdays. It was for everybody that ever doubted us. It was for everybody that said we weren't going to do anything. And here we are on a Saturday night at 7 p.m. with the fucking garage door open, no AC on, pit bulls, and fucking Little John, and fuck up some commas with Future, run the rack, grit, the fucking tire, sledge things. And if you want to be a part of it, this is pre-dad and all that stuff. It's at 7 p.m. on a Saturday. And it was the Big Bench Complex. And for all you other replicators out there that try to claim Big Bench, there was originally originated at Athletes Performance. That's where I got it from, okay? And I brought that shit to Houston. So when you see those boards out there, you know what time it is.
I know what time it is.
But yeah, it was a mentality. It was a fucking mentality. And it was, we're going to go as hard as we can and earn a cheat meal.
Mm-hmm.
And during those times were some of the best times and just manifesting times. And I'm just so proud, bro. I'm so proud of where we are. I tell people all the time, where we are at in our life now compared to then. And even Warren's skinny ass. Boy, oh boy, let's put a picture of Warren right here on a Fuck That Shit Saturday. I'm pretty sure you got pictures.
I got pictures.
You don't got pictures. Todd's got pictures. But even me, Warren was telling me, I thought you were in crazy shape then, but low-key you really weren't. I was like, no, I really wasn't then. I was in good shape. I thought I was in crazy shape. But I tell people all the time with me, how did you get so jacked out of nowhere? Well, it wasn't out of nowhere. I've always been lean and ripped.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 2020 when COVID happened and we dedicated the year to Kobe for the lunges.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we finally got the gym. And I always said, it's all fun and games until I get the toys to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I finally got the gym, that's when I shot out to the stratosphere. And that's why your trainer's still in their third dream. And that's why I always tell Priscilla and the people that I speak about this, and you can edit this with the little bleep, Aaron, that these other trainers in this city can't hold my it's big balls over here. Those two bleeps right there. Because as you see on the Daily Dose on the stories, I live this, I breed this. They always say pray for the bear, and they want to talk about David Goggins. Well, guess what? Just how Kobe looked at Michael Jordan, everyone was talking about Michael Jordan's Black Jesus. Motherfucker, he puts his pants on just like me. So David Goggins, hey man, I respect you, I look up to you, I admire you, but I'm not going to bow down to no man. And I take myself there every day. And if I fucking pass out, guess what? I passed out and I'm not dead. I'm going to get back up. And that's the mentality that we had at Fuck That Shit. And that is the mentality we continue to this day. And I want people to know that this has been years and years and years of work. It's not that Dose is mad today at somebody.
Yeah,
who pissed off Dose today? He's doing this. This has been the goddamn mentality.
Even at Tasha's apartment, your intensity has never like come down. Because I remember like at Tasha's apartment, there used to be an older gentleman. Yeah, he was bigger. That he would work out whenever we would do those Saturday nights. I don't even remember. He was semi bald. He had glasses.
He joined us, or he was just
No. I think he was just he was just there to work. But like even when he was there, like you were still like,
Oh, it was probably that kettlebell bitch.
oh, I don't know. Oh wait, what was he?
Yeah, I think,
No. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. No, it wasn't him.
Anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, but I'm just saying that, like I said, it hasn't been just like up until recently. You've always been like this ever since the day that I met you. Like it's been consistent. So,
And the irony of that was, and it's okay, we're going around. We're talking about fuck that shit. Is we started that shit. Okay, and I'm getting to brand awareness. And I'm getting to Congo. We started that shit. We created that shit. We created that culture. And it's funny when trainers, in my instance and in other phases of life, think they can come for the throne and act like something's theirs. But when we started that shit. So when you lock the doors on me, when you put a rope in front of me and say I can't cross this line of equipment that I was donated to me to put in that gym, and personal equipment that I bought, and me painting murals on that gym
I remember.
and changing it,
I remember.
and to put a fucking line in that spot and lock the doors on me and to treat me that way.
I remember because I remember you texting me. I remember getting that text, and I think it was a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. And I said, hey, are we training today? And then I got this text from you saying, he's like, hey, Nando. Hey, Nando, we've been kicked out, so I don't know what's happening. And I said, shit. And so I stopped going just because of that. And then I had talked to Taj, and Taj said, he's like, just go. He's like, until he's like, if they start charging, he's like, then that's when you stop. And then I remember you text me, and I remember I texted you back, and I said, man, I was like, my bad. Like, let me know if you need anything or whatever. And then I remember you texted me back because I don't know if you remember, like I was trying to always find a way to pay you guys back for everything. And remember I my dad got you guys the decline setup.
Oh yeah,
right. And then
so the decline setup, cake and bacon, that's in that gym is because of you.
and it's not because my dad, because of my dad.
Yeah, your dad.
But I remember you said, hey, the decline. You're like, what do you want me to do with it? And I said, bro, that's yours. I'm like, I didn't give it to 9. I was like, I got it for you. I was like, because like you've helped me out. And then, and then that's when Todd said, hey, he's like, whatever. So I remember I sat down with Carl, and he was like, hey, Nando, he's like, there's been a lot of changes coming up, and he's like, we're gonna start charging. And I said, well, how much? And he was like, well, he's like, he's like, since you've been here, he's like, we're gonna do $80 a day. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. He's like, it's gonna be 80 a day. And I was like, nah, man. I was like, I can't afford that. I was like, there's no way in hell.
That was the numbers. Was $80 a day?
Yeah,
real talk.
Bullshit aside, and then on top of that, for the trainers like that they brought it at that time, like mind you, this like the first dude that they had brought, like he was just there mostly for pictures. Cause I remember I stayed there for a week, and the dude that they brought, like the dude was just like busy taking pictures, and like the people that were there trying to train like weren't even there. And I remember doing this like weird incline where like one side of the barbell had no weight, and then the other one like had a 25. And I remember he's like, hold it. He goes, and it isolated. And I'm like, what is supposed to work? He's like, oh, it's just a pec. I was like, but I remember that. And then who was the other cat that was there? It was some white dude.
The white dude he's referring to, we're not going to say names on here. It's okay. You can say what you want. I bring this up because people want to talk about, you gotta move on. Things are stopping your blessings, but it's like, no, the fucking world's soft. You don't gotta fucking move on. Shout out to Regal Pools, by the way, because he's gonna love this mentality. Is like, you can forgive, but you don't fucking forget. And so when you're on that bike and when you're doing lunges and you're on that max reps and motherfuckers are looking at me and like, does he really got it? Motherfucker, I really do got it, because I got guys like that still in my head. Even though I surpassed them and I buried them, and you're sitting in this chair right now. I always used to say, who's still around 10 years from now? Who the fuck is still here? And guess what? We're just getting started. Yeah, I'm fired up. You know why? Because that little boy had the nerve. We're gonna find the picture too. I'm pretty sure I got the picture to say 10-cent trainers with $1 million equipment.
I know who you're talking about now.
That was the quote, right? That was the post that was made?
Yeah, and then he posted something with a gorilla.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. We don't have to say the name, but it's okay.
Bleep it.
Sorry. No, you're good. You're good. What was the gorilla one? Remind me about the reference to the gorilla.
Oh, man.
You talking about the kettlebell?
Yeah, I remember the kettlebell gorilla.
Kettlebell was donated to us. All that stuff was that when we were kicked out, we weren't allowed to take. You don't remember what he said about the kettlebell?
I don't remember, but I remember that Todd screenshot and he had texted it to me. And I remember because he had he was doing a squat and he had the gorilla and then he did one of those. And then he did another picture of the gorilla. And I don't know if he had painted over the gorilla or he did something to the gorilla. But I remember that's when he had put a quote about the gorilla on there.
Yes, this is all about telling the truth. This is not your normal podcast. This is how we roll. This is how we do things. If the truth is the truth. And this is how we're going to do it. So 10-cent trainer with $1 million equipment. And then you want to take shots at the gorilla. And I'm bringing this all up because how it ties in to the evolution of karma and life. That shit still motivates me today because guess what? We got $1 million equipment. And we're very successful trainers by the grace of God. And to mock us at the time when we were down. And you thought you were winning. And I always said, we'll see who's around 10 years from now. And that's where the tenacity comes from. Fuck that shit. And, Warren tells people, enough of the corporate dose. We need that fuck that shit dose. And that's it, right there. That's what gets me going, right there. 10-cent trainer, $1 million equipment. Well, motherfucker, we're successful. We're very prideful. It's a family-owned business. And the motherfucker, and you know who you are, that put that line there and said we couldn't cross over, fuck you too. Fuck you to everyone that doesn't believe in us. Priscilla's gonna be like, Dose, you're so aggressive. Well, you know what? Sometimes the world needs aggression. And that's where fuck that shit Saturday came from. Bet against me. Bet the fuck against me. Put the fucking world on my back. And I was trying to tell the world I was not gonna use the F word anymore. Sorry about y'all. Fuck. Put the world on my back. Go against me. I love that shit. I love when the odds are against us. I love it. I thrived off. I used to get angry about it. I used to be, and then Dodge knowing how to push my buttons. Even at the apartment, knows how to push my buttons, and Warren and know how to push my buttons. I used to get angry. Now I laugh. Now I'm like, okay.
I remember because when we're at the apartment, you would be angry. Now I remember,
and that's where I would let it out because in those moments of times, and to this day, my advice. I just got off the phone with the gentleman. I said, you never want to respond out of emotion. So when that line was crossed and that door was locked, I said, okay. Didn't respond out of emotion. As much as I wanted to, I didn't. When the next thing didn't work and that stuff would happen, those are the times I let that shit out. It was never out of emotion.
Yeah.
And those moments have prepared me to like where I'm at in life now, dealing with multi-million-dollar deals, trying to negotiate a lease, trying to do this. Again, I should say that knowing that I'm not the guy. I have a team of people that helps me, so I'm not going to portray like I am, but I'm doing my best. And it just makes me realize where we're at now of, what's the saying? A lion doesn't concern itself with the opinions of sheep. Mm-hmm. There were so many sheep in that era of our life. So many sheep. But I just want to thank you to you sheep because to protect the wolf.
I don't know that one, bro.
Come on, what do you mean?
Bro, listen,
We had to protect the sheep on the wall.
I remember. But sometimes, look, dog. I'm captivated by you right now.
Why are you captivated by me right now?
Bro, because you're just talking.
And is this good or bad?
It's good, bro. That's why I'm listening.
Man.
This is your podcast. I'm listening. But I do remember the thing it doesn't come to my head right now.
What is it?
I remember it. I remember seeing it on the wall.
I tell you what, man.
Listen.
We have to pull out real time. Yes, I don't have paid YouTube. This guy, we got to protect the sheep on the wall.
You want to run a gun, man? Stay in patrol, okay? This is investigations, all right? Let the garbage men handle the garbage. We're professional anglers, okay? We go after the big fish. Chasing them monkey strong, crackhead motherfuckers anyway. You know they'd have killed you without hesitating.
That's why they belong in prison.
For what? They got beat down, they lost their rock, they lost their money. The messages from Hillside probably gonna smoke them. I mean, Jesus, what more you want?
I want the justice.
Is
right?
that not justice?
That's street justice.
What's wrong with street justice?
Oh, just let the animals wipe themselves out.
God willing. Fuck them. Everybody who looks like them. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The good guys, they die first, right? Those school kids and moms, family men, they don't want to catch the stray bullets in the noodle. To protect the sheep, you got to catch the wolf. And it takes a wolf to catch a wolf. You understand?
There you go.
To protect the sheep
You gotta catch the wolf.
and
To catch the wolf, you gotta be a wolf.
anyways, that was on the wall at the gym we were at. And basically the long story short is that is what fuels Dose. So if you ever want, should I give him the inside advice? No, because people are going to be people. If you ever want Dose to not succeed, how you always try to make him not succeed, your best bet is to just not say anything. Because when you open your mouth and you try to come for the crown, you unlock playoff Dose. And nobody wants to see that. That's the evolution of Fuck That Shit Saturdays. Now, by the grace of God, we've turned that into a business. So now that everybody comes on a Saturday at Congo, and that game day energy, that's all evolved from what we created in 2015. Getting back to being organic and real, just like this podcast, and how things evolve and grow. So shout out to all you motherfuckers out there that thought we wouldn't win, and here we are, falling back on my quote 10 years from now. So I'm going to smile on you motherfuckers. Just keep bleeping those out. So sorry for using the F word. And, you know, the way this show works, the universe and my faith in God always works somehow with how we're talking about the episode. So let's see what this guy's got to say today.
In country, you gotta make the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Hits the nail on the head, man. Finally got the money, got the power, got the respect, got the woman, got the fiance, got the wedding on the way.
Look at
Out
you.
here winning in life, dog. Should we take another one?
Yeah, let's do another one.
You sure you can drive?
Yeah. I'm
All
good.
right, we're gonna take another one. We're gonna take another one. Dangato. For the Fuck That Shit Saturdays. Thank you, man. Thank you, Nan. Appreciate it. Pull yours up real quick. That is the Fuck That Shit Saturdays. Kiati, Warren, Taj. Sorry, man. I gave you a Sebastian Plumbing. If you need a plumber, Sebastian's our guy. Plumbing problems never come at a good time, but when it happens, call Sebastian. Whether it's a clogged drain, burst pipe, or water heater failure, Sebastian Plumbing is ready to tackle the job with a fast professional service. That just means don't shit down the hole and use too much goddamn toilet paper. Don't stress the mess. Just remember, when it happens, call Sebastian Plumbing at 346-556-6709 or online at sebastianplumbing.com. Unequivocal. Anyone else we're missing on the FTS? That was our Jack. Shout out to Jack. If you ever listen and follow, man, I'd love to have you back at the
Jack was
gym.
there.
Jack actually helped a ton there.
Jack too, yeah. Who else was there?
We had a bunch of others, but
I remember Brian Cushing went one time, and God, dog. I remember Brian Cushing just blew. So I was like, hell, this dude's a fucking beast. I remember that Saturday.
shout out to Kush.
I was like, God damn.
DeFranco's gym. That is where the board block came from. Throw that highlight reel right here, Aaron. Boom. I think it was J.J. Watt and Kush at DeFranco's gym. That is where the blocks were created and happened because we were doing pads at the time. Kush was like, what the fuck you guys got pads for? I'm going to bring these blocks.
The blue
And
pads.
sure enough, Fuck That Shit Saturday. Still rocking and rolling. Congo versus the world. So, yeah. Nando. So what happened at the time when you got jumped?
So when I got jumped, man, it just had to do
And you
with the,
that day, I think you came and worked out that day too.
yeah.
Okay.
And I remember I told you, and you were like, let me know who it is. Go, I'll throw a ski mask on and I'll pop up. And that's like I mentioned, man, that's when I knew like the kind of like person that you were. You know, and during that whole time, man, like that I was going through it, bro. Like it was really rough, like on me, like emotionally and mentally. Just kind of come back because of the whole depression and whatnot. But you know, like working out with you and Tosh, like that was kind of like my safe space.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know, luckily all that shit that happened, bro. Like it happened, and you know, and I made it through, man. And you know, I tell everybody I'm forever thankful for like you, Taj, and Jen at that time, man. That were here. That you know, I always had some people to look up to, and so
Yeah. It's ultimate dub. So you went from being broke
yeah,
to child support, divorce, being fat,
being fat.
to coming into a gym, changing your life, and making a commitment to yourself that you will never go this route again and be a leader for your kids.
Yeah.
And since then, have you set out and achieved that goal since that day you had the meeting with Arian?
I I don't think I've ever have,
Okay.
and that's good because like one thing that I've learned from you and I learned from everybody is like you never get complacent, and I don't ever want to get complacent.
Yeah.
And so like and that's the reason why like I would like you well now I used to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning every day, do an hour of cardio, and then work out for 2 hours. And that's because I got that from you. And so, you know, and you taught me don't ever be complacent, no matter if I got a promotion at a job, if I did something, like, don't get complacent. And even looking back at it, you know, like, yeah, like, it has taken me a long time to give myself, like, props for the things that I do. And I've told you and I've told Taj, Jen, Bacha, Lima, Cole, like I never give myself props for who I am now because I always tell everybody like if it wasn't for you guys, I'm not here. Because I don't know what that Fernando will look like if he never reaches out to Arian. Or what that Fernando looks like if he literally turns around and doesn't go to Nine Innovations that Sunday. You know, and so like I'm just not complacent anymore. Like in anything that I do, like even with, like at my job, even doing KHANGO Supps, like even working out with all the running that I've done, like I don't get complacent. Like the things that I do, like yeah, it's cool. Like I give myself a thumbs up, but like hey, tomorrow morning someone's gonna wake up and have that same exact mentality that I have, and I'm like I can't let I can't let that motherfucker win. So, um, but kind of looking back at it, like yeah, like I do feel okay that I've done an okay job. Could I be better? Yeah. Can I do better? Yeah. So I'm just not complacent anymore.
So a few things, Nando. For the people that mentioned, we talked about Nina. And this is a little entrepreneur spiel for you guys out there. The Nina stuff started because obviously Nina, shout out to Nina. It was my dog that basically rescued me. You want to talk about getting crying? I may cry. I always cry when I talk about Nina.
Love me, Nina. Man.
I was pulling out of Nine Innovations at the time at like 9 o'clock. This is when I used to work out late. I'm pulling out with my white pickup and I got my bright lights on. I see this dog. She's in the middle of the road in front of Nine's main road. Damn, that's a pit bull. That's a beautiful pit bull. And she was scared. I didn't know if it was a he or she at the time. She was scared. And I was like, come on, it's okay, it's okay. And then I got her in the, once I found out it was a girl, got her in the truck. I went to the HEB on San Felipe. And Jeremy Davis' sister was there. I was like, hey, Jess, would you happen to know if you would want to take this dog? I just found her on the street. I don't know what to do with the dog. I don't know what to do, but this dog was definitely left alone. Skinny, you know, she got small she was.
Yeah, I remember.
So, I don't know what I can do. And I was doing everything I can after that. Brought her to the house, fat body kennel, got her some random ass food. I had Kiati make a post on 97.9 The Box to somebody in the area. I gave them the exact address where we were, if they're missing a dog or if somebody's looking to take care of a pit bull. And it was like he was getting inquiries, and I'd bring her to work and she'd be outside and back with the gate closed. And then finally somebody wanted to get him. Kiati was like, hey, this lady's interested in getting Nina. Even the Nina name came about because it was 9, and then we said Nina. Getting Nina, and are you okay if I go ahead and direct her your way? I was like, let's have her hold off. And with Nina, she was a team effort of everybody in my life at that point in time. So many people helped that were in my life for that season. But she rescued me, and some people say that we rescue dogs, but that was at a point in my life where I was going through depression. I was going through a breakup. I was going through what the fuck's going on, and I'm still here making the same amount of money. So you're looking up to me, right? But I'm fighting my own demons every day and trying to lead by example, preach what I teach. So when I'm going through it even more, I'm pushing through even harder because I'm like, I need to be the leader. I can't show weakness. And that's why I brought up Kiati, because at the time how important all that was. So anyways, that's how Nina came about in our life. And Nina was always at the gym. And this is when I knew nothing about training like we do with K9 Vibes and Sly here. And back to the entrepreneurship, we started making Nina tees. And same shirt with Nina, but 9 on the bottom. This is getting the entrepreneurship. We were told we couldn't do it anymore. They didn't like the idea. They didn't like the design. So when we were finally starting to make money off shirts, now they want to get involved after telling you they're going to charge $80 a day and take the shit that we created. Again, getting back to fuck that shit Saturdays, getting back to the mentality, getting back to helping people understand why we operate the way we do and not to give a fuck about it. And now, 8 years from then, here we are now as a self-owned family business. That shirt that we were told that we couldn't create now is a shirt that we created with our own money. And at the time, that's a retro Congo tee.
I have the other one
That was
too.
pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And you have the original 9 one?
I had it.
I don't even think I do.
I had it, but I think I threw it away after a while.
Yeah.
But I have that one, and I have the original Congo logo tee.
There you go. But yeah, moral of the story is if you want to create something, you want to do it, bet on yourself, go fucking do it. It's your vision. Don't let anybody take that from you. And if you have something that you're passionate about and you want to do, go for it. As we always say, go for it. Shout out to Nina. I love you so much and I cherish every day with you. And you have a dog right now. We have any dog sponsors out there? You know what? We are looking for a dog sponsor. We have 2 pit bulls and an American bully. They suffer from severe allergies, so if Dog is Human or any of these guys would love to sponsor us, we have 3 beautiful pictures of our dogs, but we got our dog Sly here and we would sure love, because we're a pit bull family. Taj has got Letty as a rescue. Nina was a rescue. Luna, you're considered a rescue. Sly, Fresh Bullies of Bel Air, we got him from. Shout out to them to change our life with him. And K9 Vibes 7 is the best dog trainer in Houston, and don't let anybody tell you any indifferent. So yeah, Nina's shirt. Years removed now, Nando. Circling to where we're at now. I think the biggest honor I had in my life, and I gave you one of these, and was when I committed myself to running that half marathon with you.
Oh, that was fun, dude.
And so now that you got to see, when you see all these pictures of Nando, his transformation of him, you know, we didn't even talk about that tire. How many times I made you fucking flip that tire
my
to
God.
lose weight. And this is when the mask was
It's very popular.
the elevation mask was unpopular. And I would make him flip that big ass tire over and over and over again. But I never, other than FTSs, I never really worked out or trained with Nando. Like, for the first time in our lives, he was next to me ready to run a half marathon. Looking to turn the backyard into the hangout spot for the summer? Regal Pools is Houston premier award-winning residential pool builder. Congo tough, I like to say. From luxury design to flawless construction. If you can dream it, Regal Pools can build it. Book a consultation today. And this is getting back to his training protocol. You wake up at 2 a.m.
Now I kind of give myself a little bit more rest. So now I'm up at 2:45.
Okay. 2:45. And you train 2 hours, and then what else do you do?
So I train 2 hours, and then I do more of a like bodybuilding kind of split,
Okay.
but more focused with like running and plyometrics now.
Okay.
And then after that, after I like take the kids to school, whatever, come home, then I'll go run anywhere between 3 to 5 miles a day.
So what got you into the running aspect?
Depression.
ultimately? Depression?
Yeah. So at
Okay.
this time, I was dating my high school sweetheart. I'm not gonna drop her name because I know she would love for me to drop her name, but she left me in downtown, man, like drunk, and I got chased, and I had to call my mom, and so my mom and some tow truck driver like stayed with me in downtown till like 4 a.m. till my mom picked me up, And I said, man, I was like, I can't live like this anymore, man. I was like, I don't want to go through the depression. So I said, you know what? So let me try running. I was like, what's the worst thing that can happen? I ran one day, the first mile that I ran nonstop was like 13 minutes. And I said, man, this shit's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then every day I just kept going. And after a while, man, it became easy. It became natural to me. And then from one day to another, like I remember my mom was watching TV and they were showing the 2022 Chevron Marathon. I told my mom, I was, you know what, Mom? I was like, I want to train to do that. I was like, I don't care. I'm like, if I walk, crawl it. I was like, but I just want to do it to say that I did something that not too many people like can actually do. And so then that I started training for that. And so then that February I ran the Woodlands Marathon and I finished that in 2 hours.
This is 2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's when you and I ran the Houston half together. And that for me was fun. It's like being like next to you, like and running, like that was fun until like I looked up and you were just way gone. But it was fun though, man. Like doing that with you, like man, was like another real cool like highlight moment for me. And then like whenever we did the 2023, the one that like everybody showed up from the gym, like that we were saw in Botcha and Cole and Lima were there, and then like running, and I see Jen and I see Taj and I see Kano, and then finishing, then you see Priscilla with the sign, and oh dude, like those moments are like of like even on Saturdays, like when we get to run, like I cherish those moments, man, because those are moments that like I get to look back on and be like, damn, like like I did this with people that I care about and like that I like look up to, man, and like I cherish those moments, like like the shirt that I wore for that one, like I don't wear it anymore because like to me that's like a memory of me and you.
Is that the one that you gave us to hang and frame?
No, that's the one that one that I gave you guys was the very first actual marathon that I did in Seattle. That I gave you guys that, and I gave the other half to my dad because, like I mentioned, like I look up to you guys, and like if it wasn't for you guys like being so supportive of what I do, like again,
Yeah,
that this Fernando doesn't exist, man. And so I gave you guys the one with the logo. It had the KHANGO logo with the flash symbol going through. But now like I think I wore the KHANGO Warrior one, the Ultimate Warrior. Like I have that one like just hanging in my closet, so I don't wear it because like it's just my like you're attached to it. And that's my memory that like I can look into and be like, man, like I ran a half marathon like with those on that.
Yep. And I think the cool part about that is he was talking about his schedule and the two in the morning or whatever it was at the time. And while Nando was out there putting in work, and I talk about your trainer still in the third dream, I was still sleeping when he was up, and I didn't have to question what he was doing, but I knew that he was working his ass off, and I never really trained with him, running wise, other than those Saturdays we do. Yeah. So he actually was the one that got my bib, set my everything up, and I said, Nando, I'll do this with you, but you got to handle everything else for me because I'm horrible at, as you can tell, Aaron, I'm horrible at anything that's important. Priscilla, everybody, Jen, Staj. So he set that up for me, and my prep on that was I've never ran a race. I've never done a half marathon. But I was doing crazy times. I was doing fun stuff, and I was, first one, Priscilla was gone in Miss Grand International, so I was so focused on running. Like nothing got in my way, and this is when I was running at a 6:45 pace at 2 in the afternoon on a fucking Saturday or Sunday in the heat, and I said, this is what's going to separate me from everybody. But this is when I didn't know anything about running, and I still did it. I think it was a 6:30 pace, my first one.
Yeah, because I think I finished like 10 minutes before after you.
And what I'm getting at is when I saw Nando that morning, it was just one of these. I knew he was ready, and I was ready, and I was excited to showcase. For the first time in my life, I'm competing in something since high school. And I remember hearing that national anthem. And my whole thing was nothing changes. My shorts stay the same. I'm taking my shirt off even though it was cold. I got my same 30-minute YouTube clip ready to go. And I'm going to kick it into gear. And when I tell you, having you by my side, knowing that I didn't have to worry about you, I was like, I get to show you who the fuck I am. I get to finally, all right, I'm going to show these guys. And I just remember hearing that national anthem, and it was just calm. That stillness that these great ones talking about. Mind you, it's not no NBA finals. It's just my half marathon. It's nothing important. But I remember that calmness, and I remember when it went off, and I remember the sirens. Remember it was dark, and
Yeah,
there's all the
yeah.
cop stuff. And where that took me back was, ironically, was we'll pull it up on the thing when Mike made that clip of me dedicating 1 year to Kobe Bryant of lunges. It took me back to that stillness of that video, seeing those ambulances and keeping calm. And the irony of it was the YouTube clip that I had on was a Kobe Bryant 28-minute clip of that, and it actually hit one of the same parts of that Kobe clip at the point in time when I was running, and it was like pure calmness. And what I'm getting at is my preparation for that moment was the work, the 2 o'clock in 100-degree heat, 80% humidity, running 10 miles, and I wanted to throw up and I couldn't feel my calves. That was the work. That was the race. The race itself was my peace.
Yeah.
Was my peace, and you by my side because I wanted to show you I'm really him. I'm really like that, and I finally had the chance to do it, and it was an honor to run by your side. And this jackass pulled his hamstring.
No, not then.
Not then?
I finished. I think that I
was
did
the second one.
The marathon, the Houston marathon.
That's what
I
it was,
pulled.
marathon.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
my bad. I jumped the gun. But yeah, it was basically what Kobe talks about. It's like the work is the hard stuff, the championship, the game-winning shot. All that happened because of all the work you put in before, and I had faith in you because that's what I felt.
Yeah.
2 a.m, putting in the work, doing this, doing that. And I always talk about you want to find people in life that go through the fire with you. And he's one of those guys that'll go through the fire with me. You know why? Because this guy had a tattoo of 9 innovations. Pull it up again. Circling back. That was a 9 innovations tattoo. Now this motherfucker went and got Congo tatted on his chest. And if that is not loyalty, I don't know what is. And he didn't have to do that. I didn't tell him to do that. He did that because he wanted to do that. So now, Nando, we've run together. You got fucking jacked calves. You're in phenomenal shape. You're the leader of the pack. You're the David Goggins. You're out there taking souls, doing that shit, really living it from your perspective and everything that you've seen. And then we're going to get to the KHANGO Supps and being the rep, and then we're going to close this out. From your perspective, everything that you've seen has transpired since 2015 to now, and the evolution of what we created with KHANGO. What do you have to say about all that, sitting from afar and watching this and being a part of this spaceship to the top?
Oh man, I tell everybody, man, it's great, right? Because for example, like when you guys did release the KHANGO Supps, like when I bought that bottle, I wanted for you guys to like sign it because, like I told you, like in that post that I made, it reminds me that no matter like you work hard, no matter what, your dreams are gonna eventually come true. And like I said, I've been there. I've gotten like front rows, like seats to like the way you and Taj were, like from 9 to like where you guys are now. Like like I tell everybody, like if you go to the gym, I was like, you'll understand why I am the way that I am. I was like, if you follow Taj, like, and you follow those Bacha, I was like, anybody from the gym, I was like, you will understand. I was like, when I talk about like KHANGO the brand, KHANGO the gym, I was like the content, I was like, you will understand what I mean. And like seeing you guys go from 9 to like the apartments to the rooftops, and given like I didn't go when you were at the Post Oak, but like going from that to like having your own like like your own, it's at least for me, from where I look at it, it's like that's an amazing feeling because like I seen you guys like with my own eyes like do all this, right? And no matter what was like holding you guys back, like you guys still pushed forward and you guys achieved it. And like you always talk about it, and it's something that I talked to Perla about, like how you talk about like, man, KHANGO Supps can be $1 billion company. Like I told her, I go, he's right, it can be. I was like, and I go, I even think I tell Perla, I was like, I even think those who shoot him so short, like, cause I think it can be like a $5 billion company. I was like, because like like they got the drive. Like and I don't think anybody could kill their drive. And like I said, seeing that, from where my shoes, man, is it's been a blessing, and I'm real thankful. And like I told Lima all the time, and I'm like when I go to the gym in the morning, like I take those 10 minutes to kind of pray, man. And I always thank God, that I get to be around you guys, because to me that is a real blessing, that I get to see you guys, like in different lights, and I get to see the accomplishments that you do, and like I get to see that, and it's just like motivates me much more to do the shit that I want to do, and not that I can't let no one stop me. And even if someone tries to stop me, like I know that fuck them, I'm gonna do it. And
Facts.
so and that's what you guys have done. Like you guys literally said, fuck it, we're gonna do it. And you guys have done it, and you're still doing it.
And this is Real Time Daily Dose, Aaron. Real Time Daily Dose. We got Nando in the building. We're going to use this for a post. So he talked about, what did you exactly say again? You said nothing can stop us. What was your exact
Well,
word?
you said that nothing can stop you guys, and you just fuck it. You're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, there is nothing that is going to stop us no matter what is happening. And that is the telltale of my family's story, coming from my grandfather being an immigrant from this country and trying to make it and live the American dream and sell burgers and tamales, to being killed, to my mom evolving, to the Holiday Lodge Motel, to this obstacle, to cancer, to the ACL, to this loan not falling through, to this investor not falling through, to it does not matter what you put in our way, because when we see this, there's not a blockage there. We're going to go through that bitch every fucking time. And you said complacency, never be complacent. You don't want to know why? Because I say it all the time, because I got it from my good friend Alan Tag DC. You wake up broke every day. It doesn't matter if you won a championship the next day. And I was joking with Dre about it. I said, you know who I'm going to be the day I win the championship? I'm going to be the guy in the gym the next day putting in the work at 3 a.m. when people are talking about, they're going to make fun of this when they see this. Oh, you'd be popping bottles and champagnes. No, because it's next mentality. Because guess what? The next day you wake up, they're hunting for you. They want you to fail. They don't think you can do it again. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to prove you again. I'm going to prove you again. And that's why, go grab that bottle, Nando.
Which one? This one?
Yeah. That's why KHANGO Supps will be we will sell this or whatever God has planned for us, and I have the utmost faith, for $1.2 billion. That number has been in my head, and if I ruffle feathers along the way, and if I lose fucking friends along the way, I don't care, because the real ones, the ones that go through the fire for you, are going to support you. And if you're local, they're going to support you. And if you're a mentor and somebody that believes in you, they're going to still support you. Life is about seasons and reasons. Mm-hmm. You went through seasons to get to where you're at now, and here you are sitting in the man cave.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're in the live man cave. And you are the official rep, licensed or unlicensed rep of KHANGO Supps. And we've built this beautiful gym going on to the next, inshallah, one day. We got to train these beautiful people every day. Mm-hmm. We got to make a company that was told was impossible. And that jackass tried charging you $80 a day because he didn't know how to run a business. But these guys that were there running it every day for him, unlocking those doors, didn't know what they were doing, apparently. But hey, we'll see who's around 10 years from now. We will continue to move onward. And with that being said, the unofficial official rep of KHANGO Supps, Fernando, give us a fucking pitch on the subs.
Well,
bad toss.
Listen, try the mango nada. I know it's mango, but listen.
It's okay, man. Let
No,
it ride.
no. I'm just letting you know. Listen, the Hispanic community loves when you tell them this is a mango nada, and I bring the tajin, and I tell them, listen, if you take a little bit of this and you throw it with tajin, you get an extra pump from the sodium. Bro, it's popular.
El gato pantalones. Show that Blue Streak reference up there, because that's where I got that from. Okay, that's the Wild. Give me a pitch on the. Go ahead, you can move the mic. Go ahead and give me a pitch on the Warrior. This is our sales rep. I
got you. Here we go. So
hold on, get the mic.
okay. So listen, if you are a runner if you work out in a warehouse gym and you complain that your lifts are ass because you're drinking water, throw that shit out. Get your KHANGO Warrior. You're getting your BCAAs, you're getting your EAAs, you're getting 750 milligrams of electrolytes. I cannot stress this enough to everybody. Get your fucking electrolytes.
But Nando, I take Element, and I need the sugar.
Fuck your Element. Element has 1,000 milligrams of sodium. You do not sweat that much. This is clinically dosed. See what did the dosed?
Clinically dosed, boy.
This is clinically dosed for literally the Houston Heat. And on top of that, you're getting 500 milligrams of tart cherry. And for everybody that asks me, what does tart cherry do? It's going to help you pee out all the inflammation or soreness that you get. So when I tell you, I stand by this. And if you don't like it, I will buy you a tub. If you want to run with me, and if you can beat me we could do 10 miles, and I promise you, take this, and the next day you want to squat with me, I promise you, I'll squat you any single given day. Because I literally take this every single day. My mom takes it. We all take it, man. So get you some KHANGO Warrior. Get you some KHANGO Wild. Get a bundle. Get 10% off. Come fuck with us.
Hey, Stodge will be the judge of that.
And sometimes I say that's trash. Trust me, I know Taj is.
Hold on, man. He ain't even here. I'm just saying he's listening and you're watching this.
I know.
Before we close this out, it was funny. We were talking about the Ring of Fame. Is it the Ring of Fame? I'm fucking this up. What is it? Ring of Honor. We were talking about the Ring of Honor, and you mentioned Dwayne Brown. I was sitting there with Hop and Dre. No, it was Hop and Dre. We were talking about it. And Aaron, you know what? Can you take that off the wall real quick? We got to give it another shout out. It'll clip right off. Just watch your step. We were talking about the Ring of Fame. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And they brought up Dwayne Brown. They do have a valid point. Do you think Dwayne Brown should be in the Ring of Fame?
Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah.
He would be the next guy, not Hop? It's okay. Who would be the next guy?
I think, okay, so like, you got Dre. I honestly think you need Arian next. You definitely need Arian next because, like, I think for us, like, now going back to my fanboy time, but like Arian really did like put us on that like spectrum of like, damn, like, this like the Texans are like a real like running team, right? But then again, giving Gary Kubiak. But I think after Arian, then it definitely is Dwayne because Dwayne was like one of the longer tenured there. And then for sure, like you have to put Hop. And after that, it's kind of a toss up. But yeah, D Hop needs to be there. Arian for sure. And my boy Brown needs to be up there.
Okay. So we say that because we're going to give a big shout out. Shout out to Glover Quinn with GQ Frames. We got this, and the Houston Chronicle. Big shout out to the Houston Chronicle. I always talk about doing things organically. This happened organically, and GQ with GQ Frames was able to capture this moment, and he talked about the date, and it was Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. I did not reach out to the media. We didn't plan any of this year, and we just woke up one day and say, Hop's talking about this shit on the Daily Dose podcast. I bring that up too because big shout out to Badshah Qurban Khan. He, was it a week thereafter? Is that what it was? Was it a week?
It's like almost exactly a week.
It was literally a week right after, team followers. This guy went viral.
Oh, with the Houston one?
Real time. He gets on the Chronicle. And Badshah is the AI guru now. And this mofo is about to surpass me in followers. But big shout out to the Chronicle for highlighting myself on the Daily Dose, highlighting Badshah and his journey for AI. You know what? Let's go ahead and real time watch his newest video. Badshah has done a tremendous job in capturing the Houston culture and putting KHANGO culture in it. And it goes back to, what did I say in the beginning? When you create something, motherfuckers can't take it because they can try to replicate it. They can try to do it. But you know what? Me, you, everyone else out there with the KHANGO maniacs really live this life.
Yeah.
And we start things. And we also finish things. So we're going to watch real time his new video. Shout out to Paul Wall, baby. What it do? Because he gave him a little shout out too. So this is what it was.
What's up, guys? Here on West Hammer, heard about this spot, Johnny Dang, man. Paul Wall said come through, maybe get some ice on my teeth.
Hey, there we go. We got Johnny Dang, Paul Wall. We don't even know the name of the gorilla yet, so we gotta work on the name. Houston Chronicle, thank you so much. Nando, my dog. You got one more in you?
Yeah.
Don Gato?
Don Gato.
Don Gato. Shout out to D-Hop, man. Shout out to Aaron in the back. Shout out to Noah and Jackson. A lot of the stuff that goes behind the scenes that you're starting to see now is because of them. Big shout out to all of our sponsors, Regal Pools, Phoebe Warren with Compass Realty, Diane Ginsburg. We're going to get all the info in there for you, and Sebastian Plumbing. We appreciate you guys for just wanting to support us, support local. Benjamin Blue, I got to shout out to you. I got to figure that out, boy. KHANGO Supps.
KHANGO
It's KHANGO
Supps.
versus the world. Now, do you got anything else?
Fuck them.
Aaron, am I missing anything? You sure? You got anything? So, Daily Dose, episode 36. Episode 36, like, subscribe, share. We appreciate you so much. And if you're in a position in life that you don't know what to do and you're fucking 325 pounds, the world is on top of you. You're getting a divorce. You're about to lose your kids. You get jumped. Your car gets stolen. What do? You put one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. When the line gets drawn, when the door gets closed, when loan's not working and this person's hating on you, this person's wanting you to fail, this person's saying to the guy, what do? You put one foot in front of the other. You wake up broke every day. You evolve and you grow, and we always see who's around 10 years from now. So shout out to all you people out there that said 10-cent trainers with $1 million equipment, because here we are, $1 million equipment. It's going to be $1.2 billion supplement combi. It's KHANGO Supps versus the world. It's Nando. It's Dose. It's Daily Dose. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it!
Fuck 'em.
There it is.